Alright, hello everyone. Today I'm going to be making a video on the idea and the concept of what the next weapon will be for in Season 10. So, I normally do this on my channel. I start really thinking about what the next legend is, what the next weapon is, all this other stuff for the next season, a couple of weeks into the season that we are in currently. Did the same last season where I looked at like 𝗏𝘂𝗶𝗯𝗲, Blisk, and Ashe, and other legends that have been leaked at the time for Season 9 in the first week of Season 8. And this time I want to look at the weapons first, because there are a lot of weapons that could actually come to Apex that I think would like really impact the game. And I've got some new information, of course, and like that'll hopefully kind of promote weapons that otherwise I don't think we would have thought that would come to the game this early on. So yeah, so let's get into it, alright? So there's actually 10 weapons that are leaked in the files, that of course have their own function, have their own voice lines. Like, you know, when you ping like a weapon, it says like flatline here, like stuff like that. They have their own voice lines, so of course they have the intention of being introduced into the game. So yeah, let's just get started. So the first one we have is the Archer. So the Archer is from Titanfall. A lot of these are from Titanfall, but it is like an explosive weapon. A lot of these are explosive weapons, of course. But this one is an explosive weapon, a rocket launcher kind of like missile thing. Like I'm assuming it's going to like kind of be like more of an like a like a Horman missile type of thing. From what it seems, I didn't really play Titanfall, so I don't really know the most about like these weapons, but I'm assuming that's what this one's going to be. So pretty cool stuff. You'll start seeing a bit of a pattern right now with all the different weapons, a lot of them being like the explosive type, which I'll go over my thoughts on that in a little bit. Then we have the next one, which is the 𝗏𝗏𝗁𝗃. So another SMG will be likely added in the future to Apex Apex Legends. It'll be the 𝗏𝗏𝗁𝗃, and it has got voice lines of the 𝗏𝗏𝗁𝗃 being actually in the game. And it actually does have models as well of the actual 𝗏𝗏𝗁𝗃 being held by dummies as well. So it does kind of raise the question of whether it will actually be added, because developers way back said that they weren't going to add the 𝗏𝗏𝗁𝗃 despite it being the most loved weapon, I believe, in Titanfall. So obviously that doesn't seem like a good business plan if you really think about it. You know, not adding the most favorite thing from Titanfall. So I think they might have changed their mind about that decision, and maybe they might add it in the next season, maybe. But there's a lot of other weapons that I do have to go through, of course, and I'll try and give my thoughts on what weapon I think will actually come to Season 10. Or what weapons, in fact. So next one is the Cold War. The Cold War is I think it's a grenade launcher from Titanfall. Of course, you can kind of see this explosive type of theme reoccurring over and over and over again. But it's another kind of grenade launcher type of esque weapon. Pretty cool stuff. I'm just gonna skip over it because, you know, it's pretty simple, pretty self-explanatory. Then we have another one, which is the Defender. I have actually no knowledge on what this weapon actually is. It might have got scrapped because this is one of the only weapons that 𝗏𝘂𝗁𝗃 does not have voice lines for. However, previous legends do have voice lines for up to Horizon. So all up to Horizon, all the legends say like Defender here, all that other stuff, but 𝗏𝘂𝗁𝗃 doesn't. So maybe this weapon might have been scrapped from like development, and I actually have no idea what this weapon actually is. Like the Defender, I have got no idea. So I highly doubt that the Defender will be a weapon that will be coming to Apex anytime soon. So yeah, that's that one. Then we have the Dragon LMG, which is actually one that's been leaked recently, and it doesn't have any voice lines, but I do think that this weapon, it has a very good possibility of being the next one, because of the fact that it has been teased, or maybe like accidentally teased, in one of the Season 8 kind of videos that we see of like the changes and stuff. With like when they were showcasing off the explosive holes, you could actually see an LMG that is not currently in the game in one of the explosive holes, and this LMG is supposedly a light LMG, which is a weapon that we don't actually have in the game. We don't actually have a light ammo LMG in the game yet. So that'll be very, very cool to see. And it's supposed to have an extremely fast fire rate. Of course, right now we have the 𝗟𝗏, which is like a weird kind of close range weapon, despite being an LMG, so it can be used mid range. The devotion is very like slow paced, then goes to fast paced. And the Spitfire is very slow paced in comparison to other fast firing weapons. So this one would definitely slip into the kind of LMG category pretty well, basically allowing a constant fast fire rate but low damage type of LMG. So pretty cool stuff. And yeah, that's the Dragon LMG. So now we've got the next one, which is the EPG. So this one has been leaked since Season 4, I believe, where it was actually teased in the Season 4 trailer when the real embodiment of Revenant stroked his hand over like a little case, and in the case was actually an APG, and people like literally got that immediately. And then it was in the Season 5, I think it was a Season 5 Battle Pass level 100 skin. The dummy actually held an APG. It's actually from Titanfall, this weapon, and it seems to be very good. It's another explosive weapon, of course. I think it's just it's a normal kind of rocket launcher, I think. But that's basically what that one is, of course. And then basically the EPG has been leaked for a while, and I don't know when it will come, but I think it's probably one of the most likely ones to be next. And I'll give my reason behind that at the very end of the video. So now we have the Flash Hider. I have no idea what this weapon could be, or what it actually is. I don't know whether it's in Titanfall or not. Of course, I haven't really played Titanfall a lot to even know, but from what I can kind of like grasp of it, from the actual name, is I kind of think of like a strobe light type of weapon, like possibly a shotgun, where like when you aim down sights, it like puts like a strobe light on so that people can't see when you're aiming down sights. I think that'd be really, really cool. Like you kind of like get blinded by the light on the weapon. It's primarily used in like war type situations, but I think it'd be really cool. And I think Apex could definitely do with some weapon that actually disorients the enemy when you actually use it, because there is the 𝗟𝗏, which does actually like open doors and like kind of blinds people when you shoot it, but an actual weapon that when you aim down sights, it actually has a light on it that actually blinds the person temporarily in a certain part of the screen. It might actually allow for some pretty cool plays. So that's what I kind of think when I hear that the kind of Flash Hider weapon. And of course, all these, of course, have got voice lines in the file, so they are confirmed. Like they're getting worked on. There are ideas and concepts in Respawn's mind, I guess you could say. But then we have some kind of general kind of ones as well. So the next one is the grenade launcher, and of course this one I'm assuming is just a test voice line. I think every single legend has actually got the voice line, including Valkyrie, for grenade launcher. So of course, whenever a weapon does actually come into the game, it's not just gonna be called grenade launcher. You know what I mean? Like with the @bow, it's not just called the bow. You know what I mean? So I'm pretty sure this is just gonna be a general term for when you like for when they're developing the game, like to just easily kind of reference the grenade launcher, like, oh, grenade launcher here, and all other stuff. I don't think there'll actually be a weapon that gets introduced in the game that's called the grenade launcher. I just don't think that would make sense. It'll be very similar to like the 𝗏𝗁𝗏𝗏. And then we have the next one, which is rocket launcher. So same thing again. Once again, there is obviously the rocket launcher. Now maybe these might be referring to the previous weapons that I've actually talked about, with obviously the grenade launcher being the softball, I believe. Oh, yeah, that's the next one that I'm going to go over. But the softball, I believe, is a grenade launcher. Same with the Cold War, I believe. I don't really play Titanfall, so I wouldn't know. But then you also have rocket launcher, which could be the Archer and the EPG. I believe that's correct. Please correct us if I'm wrong, if their weapons are the other way around, but like them seem like general terms. The grenade launcher and rocket launcher, when you are pinging it and they go, grenade launcher here, like rocket launcher here, like it seems like general terms rather than actually saying like the actual weapon, you know what I mean? So, and that obviously leads on to the softball, which, as I've said, is another grenade launcher. So, that is the 10 weapons right there. So basically, from what I kind of gather, is there's actually 4 if we, remove the kind of general terms, like what I've said about the grenade launcher, the rocket launcher ones. There's actually 8 weapons, and 4 of which are actual, like explosive weapons, so we'll have the Archer, the Cold War, the APG, and the softball. So 4 out of the 8 weapons that I went over are explosive weapons. So you can kind of see a bit of a pattern there. And a while ago, I believe this was in season 5, I think, we had explosive ammo actually leaked. And it was a purple type of ammo. And of course, we just had arrows introduced in the game. So, of course, a big problem at the time with obviously explosive weapons being introduced is how will it actually be implemented? Like, how would it impact the loot pool? And I'm very certain that it won't actually be a problem now, because they've introduced a weapon, like the 𝗏𝗁𝗏𝗏, that uses its own type of an ammo type. As you see right here, arrows. No other weapon uses this, and it doesn't seem to impact the loot pool that bad. I mean, right now we are having issues with the loot pool because it's just general things that actually have no relation to that, the 𝗏𝗁𝗏𝗏. But from what I see, the arrows are very rare. So, of course, that would likely be the same with explosive ammo initially, because obviously if they were to add, say, let's say the APG into the next season, which I think is likely the most the most likely explosive weapon that I have covered to actually come next season. But if they say were to add the APG, it would only be one explosive weapon in the game. So of course they'll likely do the same thing, where it has a very low ammo count. It's very rare to find, and it'll likely only spawn next to the weapon itself, so it doesn't really impact the loot pool that heavily. And of course, you do have to also think about is inventory, like when you loot death boxes, and when you're in the 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 as well. You see, we'll have now 6 ammo types. You see it here. This obviously was initially designed for the original 5 ammo types, at which, now we're going to be getting to 7. So we'll have light, heavy, energy, shotgun, sniper, arrows, and then explosive ammo. So we'll have 7. So it'll likely be 4 in the top, 3 in the bottom type of feel. You know what I mean? So that's going to be another thing that'll be impacted by, an explosive weapon being added to the game. But I do think if they were to do that, it wouldn't actually pose any threats. I think a lot of people would actually be quite willing to use explosive weapons, because it would be a very low ammo supply for the weapon, likely only containing, 4 ammo per stack, depending on, how good the weapons actually are. That's what I would kind of think about if they were to add an explosive weapon. It would be likely very low ammo, so that, if you do hit someone with it, you've basically used up a lot of your ammo already. So Of course, it might not be the best secondary to use because you could just use like a wingman and do like 100 damage pretty quickly, or you had to be extremely accurate with just one shot with like an RPG or something. So you can kind of see how you can weigh up the benefits and the drawbacks between this stuff and other weapons. So yeah, if they were to add like an explosive weapon, it would be very, very good. I would like it. I think it would work very well. I think people who do complain about things like, oh, the bow's too OP and stuff like that, it's just, Apex develops and it's evolved since its original state. And I think it's time for something different. You know what I mean? And I think it's time for something new. Having explosive weapons would be very cool. I think a lot of people would actually agree with us about that. But yeah, that's that. So I think one of the most the most practical weapon to come next season would be the EPG, since they just added a recent ammo type this season, and it would be cool to see another one. I think it would make sense to add the other ammo type the next season as well for the EPG. So that's probably the most likely weapon to come out of the explosive weapons. But let's have a look at some other ones. So I went over the Dragon LMG. As I did say, it was leaked in Season 8, and often when we see recently leaked weapons, they come to the game not so long after. Like when we've seen the 30-30 repeater, initially called the 30-30 lever action rifle, I believe it was, or the Predator lever action rifle. It was actually a shotgun initially, and of course it was leaked, I think, around about Season 6, and only 2 seasons after, it came to the game in the form of a assault rifle, obviously getting changed to a Mossman rifle later on. So you can really see only 2 seasons after it actually gets implemented. And then we also have the Season 5, when the... Actually, to be honest, it actually got leaked in Season 5, the 30-30. Sorry about that. I think I got that wrong. It was when the Crypto's map room was introduced in the game, which I believe was Season 5. I might be wrong about that. I think it is, though. But, yeah. With the same event, with Crypto's map room, it not only showcased the 30-30 on the ground, but also the compound bow, at which 3 seasons or 4 seasons after, it then got implemented into the game. So you can really see how weapons a couple seasons beforehand actually get introduced into the game, and it's only really recently that this has actually been happening. So of course this Dragon LMG could be implemented just simply because it has been leaked recently, and only recently. So, all these older weapons likely won't be coming to the game because they're either scrapped or have been just, stopped, developed on. But this Dragon LMG is very recent and likely going to be worked on even more. So you can kind of see the reason behind that. So we'll have 2 candidates. We'll have the EPG and the Dragon LMG, but we also have one more, and that's the Car SMG. Because, of course, if you're on the other 2 that we went over as well, just to remind you, we also had the Defender and the Flash Hider, which I'm assuming is going to be a shotgun of some sort. But for the Car SMG, I think it just makes sense to have another SMG possibly in the game. But I do think it's a good business standpoint to actually have a Car SMG, and it has been leaked relatively frequently. It has been added to in the files as well. A lot of code's been added to a name under the Car SMG. And in fact, in the recent arena mode, when it was being teased by Respawn in the dev stream, I believe it was, when they were showcasing a lot of features off, you could actually see an image of a Car SMG. Despite not actually having the name underneath saying Car SMG, you could actually see it in the shot, and it just showcases that they are working on implementing the Car SMG. So you can say it has been leaked from the very start, but it's still being worked on. So you can kind of argue that this weapon is probably the most likely to come next season, because we've got very recent stuff. Literally, Season 9 leaks are about this this weapon. Of course, the Dragon LMG was Season 8, and the EPG has been leaked ever since season 4 and season 5. So maybe that one is likely not going to come, but I think it still makes sense the fact that they are working on a lot of like a lot of explosive weapons. It could likely come in the future. So yeah, that's basically it, guys. I just want to go over all these different weapons that could be coming to the game possibly, and just to kind of hype you guys up. You know, there's a lot of weapons that are pretty interesting still. You know, we've just got the 𝗙𝗲 the compound ball, which people were interested about seeing, and of course we've got both of them now. You know, season after season. So of course, you know, I think people have to realize that there are still very cool weapons to come in the future as well, in the form of a lot of different ammo types and a lot of different classes that we never seen before. So yeah, that's basically it, guys. Hopefully, you guys did enjoy this video, and I'll see you guys next one. Bye for now.